Hey everyone, thanks for joining yet another episode of Marketing Corner. I'm Casper and I'm here with Jen today. This is episode 15. Holy moly, it's going really good. We're recording a lot. Today we're going to be talking about iOS 15, the impact of that and what we can do and all that jazz. But I thought maybe you could kick it off, Jen, and just explain brief the iOS is and what does it mean.
Yeah, happy to do that. So this was released on the 20th of September. So this is kind of following on from the changes that came in on the iOS 14, which we talked about in episode 8. Track to the future. Yeah, anyone?
Yeah,
I was very proud of that.
I got it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll be here all week. So what 5 things are included in this iOS 15 update? So the first and probably the biggest one is open tracking prevention. So Apple will prevent the accurate tracking of email opens. How they do this is super technical, but it'll be downloading remote content in the background, so those pixels aren't going to fire, and so you're not going to be able to see opens. It will also mask your IP address. So there's IP protection. The remote content that you download on an iPhone through Apple Mail will be routed through multiple proxy servers, so you can't really detect the IP address, so you can't track what people are doing across the internet. There's redesigned notifications, which will display contact photos for people to make it easier to identify who's contacting you. So if it's a person, the notification will look a little bit different. There's the hide my email section where users can create random email addresses if they sign up for something so that you can't add them to a list without their consent.
Which is the one that scares me the most. But
yeah. And last but not least, there's a paid service which will allow you to hide your IP address in Safari browsing activity. That's an extra add-on that you can pay for. So those are the 5 key things that this update will be introducing. But how is it going to affect us in marketing, Casper? Are you being kept awake?
Don't get me wrong. This is not a step in the right direction from a marketing perspective. I think that's always important to say. However, based on the current amount of beating we've gotten with ITP and all these different things that came into motion, then this is definitely the one that I care the least about. And the reason being is just like, let's leave the hide my email where they generate a random email for signups, because I think that's pretty dangerous. But the other side of the coin, like everything about email open rates and stuff like that, personally, I don't think it matters. Like, I know this is slightly controversial, but I really don't. I can't remember the last time I looked at, from a B2B perspective, of course, at open rates and said like, hey, this is how I define if my email marketing is working or not. Like, you still have access to all the called normal stuff, but all the stuff that actually gives you a little bit better idea: clicks and click-through rates, traffic to your site, even click maps, unsubscribe rates, if that's what you care about as well. Stuff like that you still have access to, right? And that's the important part. Like, open rates tell you something about your headline, but your headline, like, if you're not, yes, it impacts the amount of testing you can do to optimize maybe your headline, but at the same time, does headline always matter? Like, if I get a mail from someone I like and trust, let's say you, Jen, maybe if you had a newsletter, if Jen had a newsletter,
but maybe I should start one.
I wouldn't care. I wouldn't give a rat's ass about your headline. I would open it every single time, right? I think it was Dave Gerhardt who used this example, because he has a newsletter as well, and he sends out. He doesn't give a shit about open rates, because, like, I don't give a shit. Like, if Dave sends out a newsletter, I'm reading it because I'm subscribed to it. I'm interested.
It's the brand.
So if the people you send out stuff to, if they care about open rates, that means you're not doing well enough generally that they like you. That means that only once in a while you're talking directly with stuff that's interesting to them. So,
and you know what I do? I will say, when I get all these unsolicited emails, and I get like a dozen a day, I open that email to block them. So you get an open rate. Great, she opened the email. I opened it, and then on my iPhone, I went block contact, so you can't contact me anymore. That's my open rate. So that's not really telling you what you want to hear, is it?
Exactly. Like, and I think that's the point, right? Like, open rate doesn't really tell you that much, right? Don't get me wrong. I think I've said this in previous episode as well. I like to have as much data as possible, and this is a step in the wrong direction. But in the grander scheme of things, come on, like, this is not. If your business is built around email marketing, then it hurts you a little bit more. I respect that. But for the rest of us, maybe not that much. I also think, like, it's important to note that this affects Apple devices using Apple Mail, right? That's actually not that many. It's quite a big field. It's not like when you had the ITP tracking prevention rollout. That was all the devices. Like I have an iPhone and I use Gmail, right? Well, and I used actually a mix of Gmail and out on my phone. So I don't think it's not impacting as much as you would like to think.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think email marketing has always been a tough one to track. Again, a lot of times people use open rates to see how it's working. That's misleading because people could be opening you to block you. What's a better gauge of clicks, signups, opting in to receive communications, and things like that is a much better metric as to whether or not your email campaign is working. So again, I'm not losing sleep over this really. I think, like you, the only thing that I'm really like, one is the IP protection,
Yeah.
because as we mentioned in the previous episode, we do a lot of ABM where we look at a lot of IP behavior and what you're doing on the internet to see
Yeah.
your intent signal. So I'm
Mhm.
interested to see how this would impact ABM for those of us using an ABM tool. And the hide my email to create random email addresses is going to have a problem in that people might be signing up for demos with fake emails or signing up for free trials with fake emails, and you can't really communicate with them. You can't really follow up on anything, which
Yeah,
is
no, exactly, right? Like, I would be really, really worried if somehow Microsoft and Google decided like to follow suit, right? Like to follow and do the same thing. Then it's gonna hit a lot harder. But
yeah.
in this case, it's not even a. I won't even call it a kidney shot because not it doesn't even hurt that much. Like so,
Yeah, I think
so it's like
I don't know. I think Google, because Google did kind of follow suit in terms of the tracking, the third party
mm,
data, because they're bringing out
yeah,
something next year, right? But
yeah, it's true.
I mean, you can target people based on content of their Gmail ads, and
Mm.
Google make money off of that. So are they going to want to stop that?
Oh no,
Probably
and
not.
I can't remember the actual number, so please mind me and somebody can drop the actual number to me. But I saw the other day that after Apple released tracking scheme, and it's so corporate talk because they did it to protect the people, right? The privacy hero, and then they go out
Can you
and
guys hear my eye roll?
I
Did you
think it
hear my
was
eye roll
yeah,
through
I
the
think
podcast?
they quadrupled 400% increase in ad revenue from their app store,
Yep,
right?
because this was.
Because that you can track, sort of track, right?
Mhm.
People in the app game that couldn't track their stuff on Facebook suddenly moved their ad budgets over to where they could track, which is on the app store. Which is, let's be real, that's the whole plan originally. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist here or something similar, but I have, like, we know the game here. Come on,
Yeah, we talked a little
like
bit about this in episode 8, right? Like
Apple can call it whatever the
yeah, they're
fuck
not
they
doing this
want. Like, this is
they're
not
not doing
doing it
this
to be a privacy hero. They're doing this to make a bunch of
exactly.
money.
Yeah, they're not doing this to make the world a better place. They're not doing this out of the kindness of their heart.
No,
They have
no,
their own, yeah, exactly. And so
exactly, right? They
remember what it is.
exactly. Just remember this when you buy your next iPhone.
I
But
still will though.
yeah, I
That's
still
the
will
power of
too. But
Apple. I
that's
still
fuck
will,
that shit.
but
It's just about us, right? Okay,
yeah.
okay. But going slightly off topic here. But I think the one thing I think that is a little bit scary is this hide my email feature. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, like I said, I think that that's kind of scary because I mean, I do it too. If I sign up for
Mm,
something like give us your email before you get access to this, I make up an email as
mm,
long as I don't have to get the thing emailed to me to activate, which is why they have that. But there's sometimes it's like just put in your email and I'm like abc@gmail.com and then I can
mm.
get access to the thing. So I do it too. But yeah, it's problematic in that sense. And also people are opting in. You're gonna have a hell of a time maintaining your contact database of fake emails.
It's one of those things, right? Where I see where it's coming from.
Mm,
I've never been like never actually hidden my email that much. Like maybe I'm just one of the marketeers who just like I know all the disciplines, so I'm like I'll just go head first and like
mm.
I'll just like see what
And then
happens.
opt out later. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. It's me being stupid, but I don't know. But I'm actually like this is I'm really the thing that worries me about this is it will actually make your life harder, a lot harder. So what will happen? Here's my take on it: is that you will sign up and you will use this feature. Somebody, let's call Carsten down in the corner. Carsten will use this feature. He'll hide his email from let's say it's demo request or like let's say it's a webinar, right? And then the company will say, so Carsten, you want a demo? We don't know who you are. So I'm sorry, you need to give us more
No.
information.
Yeah.
So what they'll do is that they'll send an email that says, hey, and when he hasn't like, hey, random generated email from Apple, we need to know who you are to say if we actually want to talk to you. Like, let's
Mhm.
be real here. You're a one mom and pop shop down in the corner, and we sell to large enterprises. Like, I don't want to schedule a demo to waste both of our times. Like, it will waste our time, right? So you need to actually send an email and tell us who you are now. And if you don't want to do that, sorry, we're just not going to help you.
Mhm.
And that, I think that's the model people are going to go to. And I would go to that model. And frankly speaking, it's a shitty model, but it will probably be the best thing that is there right now. So if you hide your email, if you're not even willing to give your information, then you don't have a high enough intent, right? So we'll move to that point where people, a lot of stuff will be ungated. I think that's good, though. Like, I think a lot of more stuff will be ungated because if you don't get emails anyway, what the fuck? Let's just ungate it, right?
Mm.
But it also means that the stuff you get in that where you actually need some information on people, that will require more steps, and that will that might, like, I always hate things that add more to a process that doesn't need more stuff added to it. Like,
Mhm.
it's just a philosophy of mine. If why add another process if you have a process that's already working? Like, that's kind of my take, right? And I think this is what it does. Indirectly, it adds another step to this whole process.
Well, yeah, we're gonna have to verify now, right? We're
Yeah,
gonna have to verify everybody.
yeah,
So
exactly.
even legit people who are like, I'm really interested in this, we're gonna have to verify them because
Yeah,
we don't have a way of automating knowing whether this is a fake email or a real email. So it's gonna
mm,
be annoying for genuine people who genuinely want to know more about your product. So marketing, we're gonna have to figure this out, right? Without
yeah.
how to identify these fake emails and not make the process harder because the more steps people take, the more they drop off. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And so it's one of those things where, like, I see the intention, but I just don't think it's actually going to make lives people easier.
Yeah.
But that's just me.
I think one of the interesting things about this, how it will affect marketers too, and I know I keep harping on about this, and if you follow me on LinkedIn, I'm getting into debates with people, friendly, professional debates, but debates over how we're going to look at attribution. Because
Mm,
again, the tracking, iOS 14 update did a lot for tracking and making attribution harder. Something that was already hard has just gotten harder. This is going to also make it harder to track people's intent, to track people's behavior, to see whether or not they're engaging with you. So we need to rethink attribution. Marketing people, and more importantly, marketers' bosses, the CMO, the CRO, whoever the marketing person is reporting to, you need to rethink attribution because this idea of like, if I can't measure it, it didn't contribute
mm,
is outdated. It's not accurate. It's not an accurate reflection of the buyer journey. We need
100%.
to, yeah.
I
And I
totally
think
agree.
that and I think the other thing we need to remember about this, and this maybe leads on to the kind of next part of what we can do about it, is
Mm,
these restrictions, these changes have been brought in because we marketers have done a shitty job.
mm,
Lazy marketer, lazy sales, sending
yeah,
unsolicited emails,
yeah.
connecting with people on LinkedIn and then selling them shit. All of this is down to lazy behavior of all of us. And people are
Mm.
sick of it. I'm sick of it. I'm sure people listening are sick of it.
I
And
I've
that's where these are brought in.
I'm the biggest bot user on LinkedIn ever, and I'm sick of it because I'm the righteous bot user. I do it in a right way, where I don't sell to people or anything. I just use it for
Yeah.
fun. And then I show it to people, and the first thing they do want to do, hey, I should send a message to all these people and say I have this thing I want to sell them. Like,
Yeah.
oh, dude, you just ruined everything. You care
Yeah.
about
It's
marketing.
and this is why we can't have nice things
Yeah,
because people
exactly.
get lazy. Marketers do it too. It's not just sales. Sales in my world do a lot of the
Uh,
emailing and because that's outbound for me, but we've
uh,
all guilty of it. We've all been assholes about it. And this
mm,
is retribution. This is people coming back going, we've had it. We're done with
mm,
this. Knock it off. So I think the good thing about this, and we talked again about this in episode 8, is it's going to make the good marketer stand out. How are
yeah,
we going to overcome this? The first thing we're going to overcome is we got to sort out our
yeah,
email etiquette. We got
mm,
to knock this shit off because it's not
yeah,
working and people hate it. So
mm,
let's be better about making sure our list of people who actually want to receive our shit have them opt in for this because then we know that they really want to receive it. How do we get them to want it? Make it good, make it
yeah,
relevant,
yeah.
make it
Make it good, make it
personal,
relevant.
make it
It sounds
good.
so simple, but a lot of people apparently can't figure it out. Like,
Yeah, and I'm not
uh,
saying I have the easy option, but the way around all of this is be genuine, do meaningful engagements, give people value, and they're
mm,
gonna want to receive it, and then they'll opt in for it, and then your problem is solved. Open rates mean nothing. Stop looking at open rates as a vanity metric. Look at clicks, look at traffic to your website, look at things that mean something.
yeah,
Rely on first party data. We talk a lot more in depth about this in episode 8, but first
mm,
party data is already the better data anyway. This is not affecting first party data. So
mm.
stop trying to get this third party shit. I'm sorry, I'm swearing a lot in this one because I'm really like, this is, you see my
You should,
face is getting
you guys,
red.
if you're just listening, you should watch Jen's face. It's getting a little red.
It's getting red, isn't it? Oh, it's so red. But it just really bugs me when people are lazy because then it
Yeah,
makes we're good marketers, we're white hat, we're trying to do right. And it makes our job harder because there's people out there who don't respect the privacy and giving people value. It's
No, but
hard. Somebody calm down.
no, but hey, but well deserved rant. Like, no, I totally agree. And it's like, but that's Indian for me. It's always been the bane of marketing, right? Like, that's why I've never been afraid to share it. Like, cause like eventually it will. Like, some people like, why do you share all the tricks and all the hacks and whatever? It's like everyone. If I don't do it, somebody else does it. I might as well share the good way to use it, right? And then try to cave away for how to use it properly. But a lot of people like misuse these things, right? And that's how we end up here. So
Yeah, exactly.
I think like it's important to note that some people were scared that what's going to mean for stuff like A/B testing and stuff like that. Just because you don't have access to open rates, or like just because your hide my email is a thing, A/B testing on things still matters. This doesn't change anything in that regard too. So go crazy, and the same goes for personalization. Like actually, personally, I think this is a move towards personalization. Right, the more personal and more, as you said, relevant you can be, the less this is going to matter to you. I signed up for a newsletter not too long ago, a few weeks ago, from a marketing leader, and I got newsletters, and I read all of them. And now at the end of it, I clicked on her conversion thing and what she wanted to watch a webinar, and now she got me tracked. Like she got me tracked that way, right? Let's imagine that it was in this world, and she couldn't see that I had opened all the emails, but she could still see that I converted at the end, which is what matters, right?
Exactly.
Which is what matters. Like, so
and that's first party data. You've said, yeah, I like what you're putting out. I want more of it. Here's my email.
Exactly. Exactly. And she verified me in the beginning too, right? So I think it's just, if you're lazy, then this is gonna hurt you a lot. If you're not lazy, if you do this properly, like then whatever, move on. I want to say one thing that, like, I know this is not gonna be like a tracking. We talk a lot about tracking attribution all the time, but it's important topics. There's actually something, I don't know if you've seen this, Jen, but just 2 days ago, Danish authority actually rolled out, or they call it Erhvervsstyrelsen, or Datatilsynet, sorry, in Denmark. They said that they're not gonna, like, only on the top 100 most visited websites in Denmark are the only ones they're gonna audit in terms, or look at in terms of if they adhere to GDPR rules on analytics. So that means essentially, let's call it what it is. It's a carte blanche on tracking analytics data. And I've also recently read that the EU is walking back on a lot of these GDPR things, especially regarding cookie consent and stuff like that. Probably a lot of lobbying done by Facebook and Google. Let's see. I think what happened was we went all really hard in one direction. Then people realized, okay, this is actually not good. This is not. This is hurting us really bad. It's not that.
It's so annoying,
Let's find the middle ground here, right?
As a normal person who just wants to read an article, the things I have to click just to see the damn content is
so much.
It's not
right?
ideal. And what I think is really interesting too, and I'm not sure if like different countries have different rules, but when we were doing our GDPR in Denmark, you can't do only accept all, or you can't visit the website, right? But I see like 90% of the websites I visit have that. So usually it's kind of like choose my settings, and it's like you have to click them all.
Annoying.
It's super annoying.
Super annoying.
And I just want to read the article.
I just want to have a filter. Like, I just want to have a button that says I'll accept all forever, like for everything.
Yeah,
like, I
just
don't
let
care.
me. Yeah, just let me see these things.
Like, I don't want to get the notifications that pop up. Those can get the fuck out of here. but everything else,
me,
but everything else, go track me as much as you want. I don't care.
One of the platforms, I can't remember, where I love the wording. Instead of like stop tracking, it was like stop sending me relevant content.
Yeah, exactly.
I was like, a marketer wrote that.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing. Like, so everyone listening here is probably a marketeer, right? Like, hey to you marketeers, and hey to everyone else who's not a marketeer.
Hi guys,
listening.
hi mom and dad.
But exactly, right. Marketeers, we get this. Like, we understand that this is not better. Like, it's not going to be better. It's actually going to be worse. So suddenly I'm going to get commercials for nail polish or whatever it is. And I'm like, maybe not that super relevant for me, right? Like, and that's because they can't track me. I'd rather get mails about, hey, this is the new feature segment launched, or this is what Clearbit can do now, or stuff like that. That's the stuff I want to get ads on, because that might actually be interesting to me. Or, hey, this marketeer made a new book. Hey, just launch it, or whatever it is, right? That's the stuff I want to get ads on. I don't want to get ads on nail polish. I don't want to get ads about moving to Portugal or whatever, because I'm not going to do that right now, at least. So
despite the Danish weather.
So that's my own little internal fight, and I accept everything. If you toss a cookie at me, I'll take it.
Everyone take note. Casper will take your cookie.
Yeah. Just track me all you want. It's cool.
Yeah, I think for me, it's just stop relying on other people to give you data. Just be a good marketer. I said this actually on stage at a tech barbecue. This is going to separate the good marketers from the lazy ones.
Yeah,
Be a good
definitely.
one. Don't be a lazy one because now they're cutting down on you. They're kind of
Yeah,
weeding you out.
like we're not gonna cover this now, but implement measures like server side tagging. Like start doing that stuff, and it's not just related to emails, but just in general. Server side tagging is the future, like at least for now. So look into that, and at least we can cover that sometime else. You can do a lot of measures today to actually prevent a lot of these. Facebook just released their new conversion API a few weeks ago, so there's a lot of stuff happening that you can do, and the conversion API is apparently not that hard to set up. I haven't done it yet, to be honest. There's a lot of stuff happening, so don't worry, it's not all too bad.
It's all going to be okay, guys.
It's gonna be okay.
Casper and Jen will take care of you.
Yeah. And on
Give you a
that
hug.
note, I think we'll end this one.
Yeah, I think we wrapped it up. I'm
Yeah.
still a bit red in the face.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, yeah, exactly. I think Jen needs a drink. So, thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you,
and
guys.
take care. See you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.